everyone. Welcome once again to Arrow Discussions. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
And today we're going to be talking about the 7th episode, Muse of Fire. And, sorry this is a little bit late. We didn't have an episode the previous week, and now we're back into it. So, neither...
And we just forgot about the show.
Neither Eric nor I really loved the previous episode. I thought this one was a little bit better. And how'd you feel about it?
Well, I think before we talk about anything, we should mention that the fact that this episode's co-written by Jeff Johns.
Yeah, which definitely ups the script writing, although I don't think it elevates it.
Still pop culture references.
Well, there's...
You did not remove those from the script.
But I was just going to say, I don't think that however, that it elevates it above the two episodes I really loved at all. I don't think it's any better than 4 and 5.
I think, and we kind of talked about this, I think Huntress is really bad. But I think she was written really well. I think if they'd gotten an actress who really embodied the character that was written, like there was points where there was a lot of points where I felt like she was giving really bad line reads of lines that I thought were really good. She was very like not wooden is the wrong word, but I really felt like she was Huntress is very fiery. And I didn't feel like they went a different way with her. I felt like she was written as, like, a fiery, mafia daughter. And she didn't play it that way at all. I think we would like this episode a lot more if she had been portrayed by a different actress.
I agree with you on that. Although I don't think that she is quite as bad as you seem to think she is. I thought that she and Oliver had a decent chemistry together.
I thought they had good chemistry. I just felt like a lot of the things she was saying, I felt like she should have been saying different.
I thought so too. I thought that she simply wasn't a seasoned enough actress, and I don't know her, and I haven't looked up. Just based on her performance, she certainly seemed very wet behind the ears. And I think that Helena Bertinelli is a really tough role, especially if they're trying to do more comic book Helena, which I agree with you. I feel like
they were very true to her character.
I feel like the script was true to her character, just as you said, and so I feel like that's a really tough first role or early role for an actress. I feel like you needed to get somebody that was a little more seasoned and had done more. I had this very strange reaction to her right out the gate because right at the beginning when she first popped up, I was like, ooh, I don't know, that doesn't seem like Helena to me. And then as it went on, there were places little glimpses where I felt like I kind of got why they picked her, and even in the face, I thought she looked a little bit like Helena Bertinelli from the comics. And then when it got right to the end, where she has that moment where she kind of breaks down in front of Oliver and explains her whole motivation for why she's become a killer and why she's going after her family, and then they kiss. She completely broke down for me. That was it. She didn't work.
I thought that scene was written so well,
and I felt like he played it okay.
Yeah, and then I thought she did that scene so bad. Like there was other stuff through the episode where I was like, I don't think that's how you should deliver that line. But that scene, I was like, wow, that's really, really bad. And then there was that bit where he goes, "Why are you crying?" And she goes, "I don't know." She looked like she was crying from like the second she turned around. Like I felt like she was supposed to like get to that point. I didn't feel like she emotionally built. I felt like she just turned around and she was sad.
Yeah, it was really sad because, like you said, the script was right for her, and she's the character that I've most been looking forward to seeing come into the show. She's obviously going to be a major recurring actress, and I don't know if this woman is up to the task.
I'm hoping she's someone that will grow into the role and not be bad the entire time.
Now, you and I talked about this a little bit a couple days ago before we were able to record, and I'll say here what I said then. My fear about her growing into the role is that I'm not sure she has the acting talent around her to grow up to. I'm not sure that she's got the people that can help her along and that she can act up toward. Like Welling had with Rosenbaum in Smallville. I'm not sure that I forget his name. The guy playing Oliver is that for her.
Yeah, well, and we talked about, there's no Michael Rosenbaum in this show.
Right.
There's nobody she's really gonna play off of who's really, really brought their A game. Not to say that anybody else in the show is necessarily bad, but I feel like everybody else in the show is doing a pretty good job, except for Diggle and Detective Lance. I think those are the two that like really have they're doing a really good job. But even then, it's not like amazing acting. They're just charismatic.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Either of those two characters, I don't think, like if she's on screen with them, I don't feel like they're like such high caliber that they're gonna like bring it out of her type of thing.
Yeah, I think the best way.
I think you might totally be right.
The best way I can say it, now that I'm thinking about this, is we haven't, or at least in my opinion, we haven't seen the knock it out, really nuanced performance like we got some from Rosenbaum in Smallville. And I think this was the best opportunity for one, and we didn't get it.
Yep, absolutely.
But again, having said that, I liked how she was written. I love how the cross plays in. Because
you know what? I was so excited when she had that. Just that she had it.
Me too. I know. I got excited too. And then when they actually drew attention to it and they gave it a backstory, I was like, yeah, I'm glad they got Johns for this, because another show might have just given it to her and let it be there. But I like that it was part of her character, because that is Helena Bertinelli. She's got a reason she wears that.
And I like that it fell off. And that was part of the plot. I was like, well, that makes sense. If you're wearing a necklace into a fight like that, there's a pretty good chance you're going to lose it.
The way that John set them up to, like, they didn't want to go out to eat together. They didn't want to have to do that. And then slowly they started realizing that they had somewhat paralleling pasts. And I like, by the way, that their pasts don't completely parallel. That they're similar enough that they recognize each other, but they're not like obnoxiously paralleled. And then they get to the end of that dinner, and they both admit, we didn't want to be here. And then they both say, we're really glad we did. And that was good. I really enjoyed that. That is, and it's kind of sad. I'm sorry. Let me say this real quick. It's kind of sad that we've got two romances billowing here, both of which I would assume will not work out. With him and Helena. And by the way, I think it's an inspired idea to put Green Arrow and Huntress together briefly. And then
oh, absolutely.
And then of course we've got Laurel and what's his name? Merlin. And and one of these is a romance that I'm very interested to watch, and the other one I'm just looking at my watch, waiting to get back to Arrow stuff when it's on screen. I'm so tired of Merlin already.
I really felt like, we talked about last episode where we were like, oh, I don't know if they really know what to do with Merlin. And I really feel like that this episode. The thing with his dad was so poorly written. I like the reveal that guy is his dad, but where his credit card gets cut off and his dad is just like, you shouldn't be asking yourself why now. You should be asking yourself why not sooner. I'm like, that doesn't explain why now.
Yeah, that was a terrible explanation, because of course the script realizes that the first thing the audience is going to wonder is precisely that. Well, why didn't he do this before?
And even worse,
what
is
a
that
bad
no
excuse.
Episode before this hinted to anything like that.
No,
I
that needed to be a build-up.
I never even really got that he was. I mean, he's clearly kind of a trust fund baby, but he was throwing fundraisers. Like, it seemed like he kind of had a job. Like, I didn't feel like he was just a layabout do nothing.
I didn't think he was a layabout either. I mean, I got the sense that he was a little, that he maybe had somewhat of like a Bruce Wayne kind of laziness.
And they even said, when he says all the things his dad cut him off from, he says his stock investments. Like, he's not doing nothing. Yeah,
that's true. But you're right. They should have simply built that up from earlier, and the fact that they didn't tells me that this was an afterthought.
And what I thought was kind of weird, and maybe this is because I don't have credit cards and I've never used someone else's credit card, but did it seem kind of weird that first of all, can I just say how much I hate in every single television show when they run a card and it gets rejected? They always come back to like, it was rejected. Like, I've had my card not work before, and they've never said it to me like that. Like, oh, it didn't work. I'm like, can you try it again? And then it works. Like, no one's ever come up to me and just been like, your card was rejected.
Although I will say, you're right, you do see that a lot in TV, but I've mostly seen that in really fancy restaurants like we had here, and if you knew who that guy was and how rich he was, you would absolutely do it like that.
I guess that's
you see
fair.
What I'm saying? You wouldn't walk up to a billionaire. You know, this Merlin guy is a multi-millionaire, if not a billionaire, and you wouldn't walk up to that guy and be like, oh, your card was rejected, like in front of everybody in this restaurant.
Well, the other thing was...
He's too upper class for that is all I'm saying. Like, you wouldn't do that to Lionel Luther. He would kill your whole family.
And then probably burn your house down.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing I was really getting at was... And again, I've never used somebody else's credit card. I've never used a credit card. It felt really weird for them to be like, and the credit card company has asked for me to keep your card.
See, that didn't make any sense to me either, because the only way that would happen, it's odd that we're focusing on this, but the only way that would happen would be if he was suspicious and he called the credit card company, because a card machine, I mean, I've worked for restaurants and retail places, a card machine wouldn't put that up. I mean, it would just say it's rejected. There's no place in a card reader where it would come up and say, keep this guy's card, he's suspicious. You know what I mean? Like this guy would have to think Merlin was suspicious, and he's this rich guy everybody is probably familiar with. He's probably been to this restaurant before. Why would he do that?
Well, and to me, when that happened, I was like, oh, something bad has happened with his family. They've lost all their money. Like, that makes sense to me, kind of. Is that if you have no money and maybe you're being, you know, your family's being audited because all of a sudden they have no money or something like that, or maybe, you know, their accounts have been put on hold because of, you know, something with the IRA. Like, okay, but he was just cut off. Like, why would they be like, we've been asked to hold your card?
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, that just, it seemed over dramatic. I really didn't like that whole thing. It really felt forced and unnecessary. I think it's interesting that's his dad, because it kind of lends to the idea that, you know, we've been thinking all this time, oh, well, you know, Merlin's going to turn bad. And now it's like, well, maybe he's not. Maybe it's going to be his dad that's going to be comic book evil Merlin.
Although, I just thought of something. Have you considered that perhaps his dad is, wait for it, on Oliver's list?
I assume so.
Because if he is, then Oliver could kill his dad, Merlin could want revenge, and then Merlin becomes
I did not
evil
think
Merlin.
Of that. That's possible. I'm also getting really tired of this, and we've talked about this before, the ambiguity about what they're doing.
Oh, it's driving me crazy. And especially,
like,
and we'll have to talk about Moira, about Oliver's mother here in a minute, about all that.
But,
yeah, go ahead.
Well, when he comes to her and he's like, "Do you still believe in what we're doing?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like, at this point, I'm like, unless your big grand plan is that you have been, like, screwing people over across the entire city to build, you know, the big anti-monitor machine from Infinite Crisis, like, anything else at this point, I'm gonna be like, really? That's their big secret plan?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think when we get to the end of the season, or whenever we finally find out about it, that that we could possibly be like, that we're possibly going to be like, oh my god, that's amazing. Like, this is not the X-Files.
And unless they're like, okay, we're sacrificing children to Darkseid so that, you know, the new gods will come and you know, bless us with their presence. Like, unless it's something like that, like, I'm like, what are they doing that has to be so hush-hush to the audience? Like, that's the thing. It's that they're keeping it from us. I'm like, what are they doing that makes it so...
And I'm sure it's one of those things where they think, and I've seen so many of these primetime drama pseudo sci-fi things do this, where they probably think that that's the thing that's going to keep the audience coming back. Right now, I'm just frustrated by it. Like, tell me what it freaking is, because what's keeping me coming back is Oliver's character arcs, and you know, in the island mysteries and that sort of thing. Like I you know, I'm watching the show for Oliver Queen. And by the way, thank God that that guy's acting is good because it's the only thing that keeps me coming back. I like Diggle. I like some of the supporting characters, but I'm just saying that, like, you've got to like this protagonist or it's not going to work.
Speaking of, Ollie's character arc and all that, we did not have any flashbacks to the island this episode. And I said this to you before, I feel like if you are going to break formula like that, you need to have an out-of-the-park episode. You need to have an episode that makes me go, wow, they needed all of that screen time for this. This is big. And this episode was not that. It was an alright episode, but it did not require all of that screen time. And I felt like most of the Merlin stuff could have been cut and been island stuff.
That's just what I thought too. Yeah, and
I was kind of thinking about this when they
first time. No, that's okay. This is also the first episode that's had no island stuff. And I'm with you. I'm not sure it warranted it. I was wondering why and where it was, and it really felt like they thought that they had so much to do they couldn't give us any island this time. I really got the sense from the first 6 episodes, forgive me if I'm missing one and I'm forgetting, but I'm pretty sure we've had something island every episode, be it ever so briefly. And this time I just I kept looking for it, and I thought from the beginning that they were going to have this format where we always got island stuff every episode till the end, and all of a sudden they've broken that formula. I don't know why.
Well, and looking at last episode and this episode, I'm starting to think maybe they don't have as much to do on the island as they maybe initially thought they did. And I kind of thought about that at the beginning when they kept flashing back, where I was just like, how much can you do on that island? Like, how much of a story can you tell there after you've already had, the mercs who torture, Ollie? How much more, like, what else is going to happen on that island?
Well, a couple things about that though, and I don't want to give too much away because we have had some viewers ask us not to give any spoilers if we've read anything further. All I will say is we know for sure Deathstroke's coming back, and we know for sure that it's on island. So they've got plans.
See, I did not know that. I knew he was coming back, but I just assumed it would be like in modern day.
I won't say anything else. Maybe I've even said too much for people, but I read an article the other day that said that they have more plans for him on island. And the thing is, they keep changing how much island stuff they do in an episode. Sometimes you'll get a minute, sometimes you'll get 10 minutes. So I mean, it seems like if they're going to have island stuff in most of the episodes, they ought to have it in all of it, be it ever so brief.
I think if they're going to bring Deathstroke back, I think it would be really interesting if they flipped the formula and had an episode that was mostly on island or all on island.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. Maybe they will. That'd be fun.
I'm not saying that there's nothing left for them to do, but I'm worried that they're running out of ideas already. And if this is going to be a long-running show, you're 7 episodes in, and you seem like you're kind of losing steam on this aspect of your show.
I'm not convinced of that yet.
Sign.
I think that this was probably, again, them thinking that the Helena stuff was such a big deal that they didn't want to do any island. They made a bad choice because. See,
I would much rather Jeff Johns come on the Deathstroke episode. Like, he wrote Teen Titans. Like I want him on the Deathstroke.
I'm not sure why they thought they needed Johns for Helena.
This seems like a really weird episode to throw Johns on.
That's what I
thought. Especially given that it wasn't.
Has he written something with Huntress that I don't know about?
Maybe in like 52 or something, but like I don't think he's written anything like specifically. I would have been more interested if they had said that Greg Rucka wrote this.
Oh,
because Greg Rucka wrote a Huntress The Question miniseries that's quite good.
By the way, can I go on record to say that Greg Rucka, I'm sorry, I think he would be fantastic for something on the show.
Never thought about that, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Greg Rucka would be perfect for this show. God, wouldn't it be great if he was just a regular writer?
Yes.
On the show?
Absolutely it would. Well, anyway.
But, I guess the last thing to really talk about is the mom.
Yes, go ahead.
I feel like, and we felt like this, I think it was last episode, maybe it was the episode before that, I feel like they're trying to make us like her. When her husband comes back, you're supposed to feel good that he came back, and he has that, like, I missed my wife.
I didn't.
She's bad. I don't feel bad for her.
No, I don't either, because I feel like they're trying to make us forget that she's bad while at the same time reminding us of it. And when I felt like him leaving the show when he did, it felt like that was supposed to, for her, be like the sacrifice she was having to make for whatever evil she's doing. To bring him back this fast undermines any of that. I feel like that is typical jerking the audience around primetime drama stuff. I don't like it.
I think what they're trying to do is, I think him leaving was supposed to be the beginning of her maybe like redemption, because I'm getting that now. We have now had 2 scenes where she is with this guy who apparently everyone knows and loves from Torchwood. I never watched Torchwood. I don't know. He's got a weird face. It looks like he's wearing somebody else's face over his face. You know, we've had 2 scenes now where he's like, "Are you committed? Are you still ready to do what we need to do?" And I feel like there's going to come a point where she's going to be like, no, or she's going to turn. I feel like they're trying to make us like her so that we will like her when she decides to go against them. I feel like that's what they're building to.
Like we said earlier, what exactly she's been doing and what their plan is, so that if she's already on some sort of road to redemption, I'll care.
Please make it be that they're offering babies to Darkseid. I think that would be amazing.
It needs to be more evil than anything we can possibly fathom, and you know it won't be.
It needs to be something more than just we are evil corporations siphoning money. It needs to be something bad. But at
it
the same
also
time,
needs to be
something
more
that
than... I'm sorry, it also needs to be more than just simply we caused that ship to wreck, because that seemed obvious pretty early.
Well, and he says, you know, your husband wasn't, doubted us or wasn't committed to the cause. So I assume that they were just knocking him off because he wasn't committed to sacrificing babies.
And that she knew about it.
But yeah. But, and I still don't understand her having the boat thing. I don't understand that. But they cannot just be like bad business people. This has to be something really bad. I want it to be something comic booky, and I keep making jokes about Darkseid and the Animon.
It won't be
that. It doesn't have to be that.
But
it doesn't have to be that big a scale. You know, they could be working with the mercs on the island. Like they could be like something. You know, it would be amazing if they brought Greg Rucka in and they revealed that they are part of the. Was it the religion of crime or whatever? That's fine.
Sure.
But whatever they're doing, I have to believe that they think that they're doing something good. Yeah. Because they keep saying that. They keep saying, do you have the strength to do this, for the good of the city or whatever. It can't just be something bad.
I also want to mention real quick before we go that, hey, China White's back.
Yeah, for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't know she was going to be recurring.
I didn't know that either, and I noted it in my brain. I noted it when they did the recap. I was like, hey, they put China White in the recap. That's kind of weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
And then when she showed up, I was like, did you really need to put her in the recap to remind us that this character showed up for like 30 seconds?
Because she hasn't been real important yet. But I like that some of those bad guys early on are recurring, because they could get closer to comic book, but much more importantly, they have a chance to develop all these people. Unless they kill them.
Right.
So that's great.
Yeah. I feel like we've dogged in this episode a lot. I didn't think this was awful.
No, I enjoyed it. I just hope
I thought
this
was a better episode.
Helena can come, because look, Huntress is a character I love, and I really want to love her in this show. I don't hate her right now, but
she needs a better costume.
It wasn't what I was hoping for. What do you mean she needs a better costume? She wasn't really wearing a costume.
She needs a costume.
Oh, I see. Yeah, she needs a costume down the road, but I didn't figure we'd get one this quickly. More importantly, they need to call her Huntress.
Well, I saw a picture like 3 weeks ago of her wearing a mask.
Really?
And
cool.
Yeah. And so I just assumed she was going to be wearing a mask.
Yeah, but that means she will later on. I mean, that's good. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
exciting. I thought she there was something else I was going to say about you said she needs to be called Huntress. I'd like him to be called Green Arrow.
Me too.
Now,
or even just Arrow, and I don't even like that. I don't want him to just be called Arrow, but one person, one time in the show, on a news program or something, somebody
Can we
give
just
him
not
an
call
alias.
him the Green Hood guy?
Yeah.
Or the guy with the bow?
Or can we, the Hood, the Robin Hood light guy? Give him an actual alias and make this at least slightly more comic book.
Yeah,
They don't have to go all the way if they don't want to, but I mean, like, something.
It's really weird that they keep going back and forth. Oh, hey, I just looked up China White because I thought she was Michelle Yeoh. She's not Michelle Yeoh. She's Kelly Hu, and she was Lady Deathstrike in X2.
Oh, that's cool. Well, see, now I care more.
I guess.
No, I'm just saying, like, okay. For the really, monotone, doesn't get to say anything, kind of performance she gave, I liked her in that part, and I hope that they actually give her more to do in this. I hope we get to hear her, like, have what dialogue with people and things.
She was also in 3 episodes of Growing Pains.
Wow. Hey, real quick before we go, I want to, Eric, I haven't told you about this yet. I want to tell you about the petition I'm considering putting together. And I want to know if you'll sign it. I'm thinking about putting together a petition for the writers of Arrow to include an episode with the Clock King.
He'd be perfect for the show. Yes, I will totally sign that because he is exactly the kind of villain that they could put in the show. And he doesn't even have a costume, like they don't have to deal with that. He doesn't really have a set character, so like they could really just make up his own thing. Yeah, that's perfect.
I think Clock King needs to be in the show. And Clock King was originally a Green Arrow villain. And I've been wanting to see some portrayal of him live action somewhere. I really wanted him in Rises. Of course, that didn't happen. And I think they should do him. So I'm thinking about putting together a petition and seeing if people will sign it.
Hey, just again before we go.
Yeah.
Kelly Hu is actually involved in some other comic book things.
What is that?
She was someone in the Spectacular Spider-Man, Sha Shan Nguyen.
Oh, maybe she was one of the like doctor people working at Osborn.
She was Miss Lee and the female assassin in Under the Red Hood. She was the secretary chick and I assume the grunts for the girl assassin in the.
Shades told me about that one. Yeah, that's hilarious.
She's Cheshire and Paula Croc in Young Justice.
Oh, wow.
She's Liara in Green Lantern Emerald Knights, and she is Karai in the current Ninja Turtles show.
Wow. Wow, she gets around. Isn't it ironic that she's a voice actress, but then every time she's on screen, she doesn't get to talk?
That is ironic.
Well, anyway, thanks
everybody
for...
That is, in fact, the exact dictionary definition of irony.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to Arrow Discussions, and we'll see you next week with another one. Well, actually, we'll see you, hopefully, this week with another one, since we're a little bit late on this one. I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Eric.
We'll see you next time.